If you've come across this video, it's not by chance. Perhaps there's a quiet weariness in your heart that you haven't yet found the words to name. Maybe you've just passed through a stretch of days filled with tangled emotions, anger, sadness, disappointment, loneliness, all weaving together, leaving you breathless and heavy inside. Have you ever tried to stay calm, only to find that a single word from someone could unravel you, bringing you to tears? Have there been moments when you felt out of control, and in that rush of emotion, ended up hurting the very person you love most? Or perhaps, there are nights when you lie awake, not because you're not sleepy, but because your heart simply cannot rest. If you're in any of these states, you're not alone. We all, at some point, find ourselves lost, unsure of what to do with the storm of feelings swelling inside. But do you know, even these emotions carry a message. They're whispering, it's time to come home. Come home to your breath. Come home to awareness. Come home to the deep peace that has always lived within you, just quietly forgotten amidst the chaos of life. Buddhism doesn't promise a life free of suffering, but the Buddha once taught, suffering is the path, and understanding is the light that helps us walk it without falling. If you're tired of reacting impulsively, if you long for a day where anger, anxiety, and pain no longer sweep you away, then this video is your first step, a gentle but meaningful beginning on a path of inner transformation. In this video, you will be gently guided to recognize and embrace your emotions rather than be ruled by them. Learn how to pause before reacting and respond with awareness. Cultivate mindfulness, compassion, and letting go so you are no longer imprisoned by expectation or disappointment. Most importantly, you'll learn to return to yourself, to your breath, to the present moment, the only place where true peace can be found. Take a few moments to listen, because sometimes all it takes is one sentence to calm the storm within. At the end of this video, you will receive a blessing and a wave of peaceful light from the Buddha. Write down one wish that your heart holds right now, and let the rest unfold with grace. 2. Breath, the silent friend that guides you back to stillness. Buddhism points out that everything in this life arises and ceases in every moment, the mind, thoughts, and even emotions. But amidst all those movements, there is something that always stays by your side, without words, without demands, without pressure. That is your breath. Breath is the silent friend, the safest refuge that you can always return to in any situation. Even when your mind is in chaos, your heart is wounded, your tears are welling up, or fear is tightening your chest, as long as you are still breathing, you still have a solid anchor to begin again. The Buddha once said, just like a skilled craftsman who knows how to handle their tools, the one who practices mindfulness will guide the mind through each breath. Therefore, as long as you learn to breathe with awareness, you already hold the key to coming home. You don't need to seek peace in the high mountains. You don't need to retreat deep into the forest, nor do you need to give up everything just to feel a moment of stillness. You only need to pause, sit down, and listen to your own breath. That breath isn't noisy, isn't hurried, it's simply present there, gently supporting you with every heartbeat, every moment of life. In Buddhist teachings, the breath is considered a means of bringing the mind back to the body, bringing life back to the present moment, and serving as the link between the physical body and the deep spiritual life within. When you inhale consciously, you are letting the light of mindfulness flow deeply into your body and mind. When you exhale slowly, you are releasing the layers of dust from stress, sadness, resentment that you've unintentionally accumulated throughout a busy day. Buddhism teaches us, whoever lives mindfully lives like a lotus flower in the mud, untouched by the mire. And practicing mindful breathing is how you keep your mind from being polluted by the external world. It's how you live within life's current without being swept away. Do you notice that when you're anxious, your breath becomes short and rushed? When you're angry, your breath turns hot, heavy, and erratic. When you're sad, your breath becomes dull and fragmented. That shows the close connection between breath and emotion, between mind and body. So, if you want to heal the mind, Start with the body, more specifically. Start with the breath. In times when no one understands you, when no one is there for you, when no one listens, it is your breath that is the most faithful and silent friend, always present, never leaving, never abandoning you in pain. The Buddha once taught, return to yourself, like a traveler returning home after a long journey. And breath is the shortest path for you to return to yourself. You may be walking, washing dishes, lying on the bed, or sitting in the middle of traffic, but if in that moment you are aware that you are breathing and place your full attention on each breath, then you have already returned to the body, the mind, to the miracle of life present here and now. The Buddha does not ask you to do anything grand. No need to attain something extraordinary, just live deeply with each breath, and that is already a journey of awakening. Because when you breathe consciously, you are sharpening attention, nurturing mindfulness, and softening the weight of sorrow and affliction. You don't need to rush, don't need to force yourself to fight against negative emotions. You only need to sit down and begin by recognizing, I am breathing. Breath in, know that it is the breath in. Breath out, know that it is the breath out. No need to change the breath. No need to force anything, just recognize and go along with it like a gentle friend. Then gradually, the breath will lead you out of the maze of endless thinking, out of the spinning wheel of pressure, out of the dark corner of resentment and sadness. It will bring you back to the place where you can smile to yourself, the place where you can accept every rising emotion without being swept away. And slowly you will realize, peace has never left you, you just forgot the way back. 3. Observing emotions. A mindful healing pill. Buddhism teaches that emotions are not enemies, but messages from the heart, signals that something inside you is agitated, hurt, or pulled away. In the Buddha's teaching, he once said, whoever understands their own mind understands the universe. Only by observing emotions with awareness do you realize that anger, sadness, anxiety are just passing clouds in the sky of your consciousness. You are not the rainstorm. You are the boundless sky, untouched by each arising and dissolving state. When anger rises, instead of letting it overflow, you can gently name it. This is anger, this is heat. By doing so, you diminish its grip. As the Buddha taught, knowing how to name it is opening the first door to wisdom. When sadness comes, you can whisper, this is sadness. This is loss. When fear arises, this is fear. This is confusion. You don't need to hide or suppress its imply. Acknowledging its presence with mindful awareness gives that emotion a safe refuge so it doesn't flood and harm you. In Buddhist teaching, observing emotions without judgment is the fastest way to transform them from within. Because when you judge, I'm angry, which is wrong, or I'm sad, which is weakness, you imprison yourself in a vicious cycle of expectation and self-criticism. But when you observe without judgment, like a patient scientist studying a sample, you create space for wisdom and compassion to arise. This way, you cease being a victim of emotion and become its companion. More importantly, you free yourself step by step from the negative hold of ignorance. How many times have you been wounded by harsh words, reacted hastily, then regretted it afterwards? You blame yourself. Why wasn't I wiser? Why didn't I stay calm? Buddhism says, these are opportunities to deepen your practice of mindfulness, not to self-blame, but to strengthen your ability to observe. Observe each beat of emotion, each stirring in your body, each thought in your mind. When jealousy arises, instead of thinking, I'm ashamed to be jealous, release it and calmly note, this is jealousy. A feeling of insecurity about the present. You honor the part of yourself that needs understanding and healing. The Buddha taught, whoever embraces everything with love and understanding will not be abandoned on the path of life. By embracing anxious or confused emotions, you shrink them, lighten their weight, make them more bearable. During this process, you'll discover that the knots in your heart weren't caused by circumstances but by delusions, by stories you tell yourself. Buddhist teaching reminds, if you change your narrative, fewer judgments, fewer negative predictions, less comparison. You are healing yourself. You'll notice your breath is less shallow, and your emotions will cool accordingly. When your mind is no longer swept along by life's current, you will feel true freedom. No more hiding in shadows of worry or loss. Then you realize, this observing mind is your Buddha, nature, your guiding light, your unshakable faith in the power of compassion and concentration within. The Buddha said, an empty mind can hold infinite possibilities. When you allow emotions to arise without clinging, suppressing, or judging, you create a loving emptiness, a space where all mental states can come and go gently. Trust that you are transforming, little by little, not through rushing or denial, but through acknowledgement, understanding, and love. This is the sacred path that the Buddha pointed to. And if right now you are listening, you are learning how to observe, you have already begun walking that path. 4. Letting go of expectations, freeing the heart from invisible chains. Buddhism teaches that the root of suffering does not lie in what happens to us, but in how we expect things to happen according to our will. The Buddha once said, people suffer not because they don't get what they want, but because they cling to what they cannot control, and that is the very root of so much suffering in our daily lives. We feel hurt because someone doesn't understand us, because people don't act as we expect, because work doesn't go as planned, or because life doesn't look like what we imagined. We create an ideal scenario in our mind. Then when reality doesn't match, we feel disappointed, we feel sad, and that disappointment turns into blame. Sadness turns into resentment. But dear one, what causes your pain is not others, not circumstances, but the silent expectations within you. Expectations that others should treat you a certain way, that the world should revolve around your standards, that life should always be easy, that love should last forever like the beginning. And when those expectations are shattered, we blame life, we blame people, without looking back at the root within ourselves. In Buddhist teachings, there's a beautiful word, letting go. Letting go is not giving up, not resignation, and certainly not indifference. Letting go means releasing attachment, releasing what we cannot control, so that the mind can be as light as a cloud drifting through the vast sky. The Buddha taught us, letting go is the path to liberation, because only when you stop clinging do you become truly free. Free from anxiety, from torment, from expectations that hurt you. Ask yourself, how many times have you been angry just because someone didn't meet your expectations? How many times have you felt let down because the outcome wasn't as you hoped? How many times have you exhausted yourself trying to change others, forgetting that the first one who needs to change is you? Buddhism teaches that everything is impermanent. Emotions are impermanent, circumstances are impermanent, people are impermanent, and even you are changing every day. So why do we insist on clinging to a fixed image in a constantly changing world? Perhaps because we fear loss, fear change, fear emptiness, and so we expect more, control more, hold tighter to what we love. But in that attachment, we fail to see that we are tightening our own hearts with invisible pain. The Buddha once said, when you let go, you lose nothing. You only lose the chains that make you suffer. Practice letting go little by little. Let go of the need to be recognized. Let go of the need to always be right. Let go of the demand that others must understand you, must love you in the way you want. When you let go, you are giving freedom back to yourself and to others. In that moment, you will feel your heart more open, lighter, like a field with its fences removed, where wind can pass through, light can enter, and your heart becomes naturally peaceful. Remember that no one is born to fulfill all your needs, and you don't need to strain to please everyone. Letting go of expectations doesn't mean becoming indifferent. It means living with understanding and acceptance, allowing everything to be as it is, not what you force it to be. When you live this way, you no longer suffer when someone changes, no longer resent when something doesn't go your way. Instead, you smile at every change like an old friend, because you know that everything comes and goes for a reason. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha taught, one who expects nothing, fears nothing, grieves nothing. That is the state of one who knows how to let go, one who lives in the world without being bound by it, one who loves without attachment, acts without clinging to results. You can be that person. Just begin today. Begin by looking deeply into the expectations you carry. Ask if they are necessary. If they cause you pain, then gently lay them down. Not forcefully, not hurriedly, but like a flower that lets go when it's time. Because as the Buddha once said, all suffering comes from attachment, and true happiness is letting go. 5. Mindfulness in every action. The art of turning life into a path of meditation. Buddhism teaches that mindfulness is not something lofty, not reserved for cushions or silent retreats in deep forests or high mountains. Mindfulness is simply being truly present in every action, every word, every thought of your daily life. The Buddha taught us, live as if today is all there is, as if there's no past to regret, no future to worry about, only this present moment to love, to live fully. And it's true, you don't need to withdraw from the world to find peace. You just need to start by drinking a glass of water with gratitude, washing dishes with a clear mind, walking each step with an anchored heart. You turn life itself into a sanctuary, your home into a meditation hall, and your body into a temple of awareness. Think back, how many times have you eaten while your mind was lost in work? Listened to loved ones speak while your thoughts drifted elsewhere? Walked without knowing where you were going, like a machine, like a wanderer who's lost themselves among life's many paths. In Buddhist teachings, the absence of mindfulness is the doorway to ignorance, to suffering, because when you are not fully present, you react easily, misunderstand easily, say hurtful things without even realizing. But when you are mindful, you slow down, you see clearly the roots of your suffering, you pause before speaking harsh words, you know how to adjust yourself before blaming others. The Buddha once said, one who lives mindfully is like a lamp in the darkness, guiding the lost back to themselves. So, when you drink water, simply know, this is water, this is coolness nourishing my body. When you shower, just recognize, this is water cleansing my afflictions. Each time you open your eyes to the morning light, simply offer thanks for still being present in this miraculous life. Don't think of mindfulness as something grand, because in truth, it is the art of the smallest things. When you cook without rushing, you are meditating. When you clean with love, you are cultivating awareness. When you breathe and know that you are breathing, you step out of the unconscious spiral of millions who live without knowing they are alive. Buddhism teaches that no one can make you suffer if you are living mindfully, because with mindfulness, you no longer react by impulse. You respond with wisdom and compassion. You listen not to reply but to understand. You speak not to win but to connect, and each small act becomes a brick building the foundation of lasting peace. You don't need to be a monk or a sage. You just need to be yourself, living with gratitude, fully present, able to return to your breath at any moment. That is already the most beautiful image of a practitioner in everyday life. And you know, when you live like that, you are planting seeds of peace not just for yourself but for everyone around you, because the energy of awareness spreads silently but powerfully, like a lotus blooming in the mud, unstained, quiet, yet soothing to all who pass by. Begin today. Begin this moment. Choose one simple act in your day, walking, washing hands, drinking tea, and do it with mindfulness. You will see a miracle unfolding, and you will understand. Peace is not somewhere far away. It is always here, in every beat of life, if only you remember to return. 6. Compassion, the boundless source of true love. Buddhism teaches that the origin of lasting happiness is not ambition, not achievement, but compassion, the ability to love unconditionally, to heal without expectation, to comfort without discrimination. When you plant seeds of compassion in your heart, you open a doorway to unwavering peace across all dimensions of time, the Buddha taught. Compassion is the light that shatters the night of suffering. Indeed, when you direct compassion toward others, you are also healing yourself. In daily collisions, when someone hurts you, you may instantly react with anger, resentment, holding it in. But when you apply compassion not just to them but to yourself, you don't pour oil on the fire. Instead, you gently soothe each wound with understanding and acceptance. Buddhism shows that loving isn't weakness, but the force that sustains endurance. It's the energy guiding you to hold peace even in the darkest of times. The Buddha said, "One with compassion has taken the first step on the path to enlightenment," and you can witness this in your own life. When you speak with tenderness instead of scolding, when you listen to understand rather than to reply, when you choose patience instead of anger, you are planting compassion in the very landscape of your life, and you will see relationships once strained begin to heal. Inner wounds draw near closure. Your heart grows warmer, gentler, like earth-nourished green after a storm. In Buddhist teaching, compassion isn't reserved for loved ones, it extends to enemies, to yourself on days when self-criticism is harshest. But Buddhism teaches that when you do not forgive yourself, you imprison yourself in a mental hell. Yet, when you open your heart with compassion toward yourself, you allow yourself forgiveness, invitation for warmth, permission to be gently healed. No matter how great your mistakes, they cannot erase your worth, because Buddhism never rejects anyone. The Buddha said, "The wise see their own mistakes without compromising themselves, but learning, you don't need perfection to deserve love. You only need to be gentle with yourself with every step. Every breath, you walk slower to hear your heart. You allow mistakes to grow from them, and that very compassion makes you strong, not like rigid metal, but like bamboo that bends with the storm yet stands firm in its roots. Each time you sit quietly with another's suffering, offering eyes that do not judge but empathize, words that do not criticize but comfort, or a hug without conditions, you not only warm another's life, but you also heal yourself, knowing you have sown seeds of kindness for yourself and others. Buddhism teaches that compassion is a living energy, not swayed by conditions, unbound by benefit, unspent by time. And when a practitioner lives as a candle, burning fully to bring light, that becomes the noblest image of compassion. The Buddha said, "When you light a candle for someone, you not only brighten them, you are also illuminated." So let compassion be your first choice each day, not the last resort when you're exhausted. Open your heart to yourself with that pure love that needs no condition. Offer healing without expecting return, because Buddhism points to a beautiful paradox. The more you give, the more you receive. And when you sow compassion, you will harvest infinite peace, stillness, and meaning in every breath, every step, every encounter of life. That is the miracle of compassion. 7. Writing down emotions. Open the door for your heart to breathe. Buddhism points out that the mind is like a blank sheet. Each thought, each feeling is a mark upon it. When those marks become dense and heavy, we easily lose our way amid chaos. The Buddha taught, when the mind is about to shatter, return it to the simplest thing. And that simple act is writing, seemingly quiet, yet magical. When you write, you don't just pour out your heart. You give your mind a place to rest, to listen, to untangle. Writing down emotions is like opening a valve for suppressed currents. It allows you not to hold all the pain inside, not to stifle every anger, every tear, every silent scream. The Buddha taught, the path out of suffering is not silent endurance, but seeing deeply into suffering and recognizing its nature. And when you write phrases like, "I feel powerless," "I'm afraid," "I don't know how to speak my heart," you step into the journey of observing and healing observing. So emotion is no longer an invisible phantom, no longer dragging you into the abyss of ignorance. Imagine your mind is so cramped, you need a moment of silence, and writing is how you tell it. Take a break. You are safe. You are heard. In every word, you truly listen to yourself, not to justify right or wrong, but just to understand and empathize. Buddhism shows that gentle self-observation is a manifestation of wisdom and compassion, because you stand before yourself with a heart that understands and loves, not only comforting yourself, but also sowing seeds of deep awareness within. The Buddha said, Whoever understands themselves will no longer fear the world. And each line you write brings you closer to freedom, to letting go, to fearlessness. You don't need to write perfectly. You don't need long sentences. Just be honest with what you feel each moment, like a whisper in the night, where there is no judgment, only you and your heart. When writing, you clearly see patterns. When you are quick to anger, quick to sadness, or quick to worry, then you realize the root-souled wounds, unmet expectations, unspoken fears. Buddhism points out, only when truth is illuminated by light can it dissolve. And by writing it down, you place the truth into light, not letting it hide, not letting it become a phantom in your heart. Try spending time each morning or night with your notebook or notes app. Write a few lines. What did I feel today? What do I want? What do I fear? And you will realize that through writing, you create a simple yet powerful practice, helping you transform emotions from chaos into clear peace. Just as Buddhism shows, everything can be transformed if mindfully seen. In every stroke of pen, you're learning to embrace yourself in love and not judging, not comparing, not blaming. In each written line, you sow into your heart seeds of goodness, seeds of understanding, seeds of letting go. Because when you write, you not only give emotion a resting place, but also give it a chance to dissolve in your own awareness. The Buddha taught, whoever knows how to let go has achieved. And writing down is how you begin letting go hurriedly. Not tense, but full of love and honesty. Try it and feel the difference when you no longer hold everything inside, when you allow yourself to be wrong, to be hurt, to be healed. Because only when you allow yourself to be human do you truly live as yourself. 8. Listening and receiving, opening the sky beyond harsh words. Buddhism teaches that we are born with an innate defense, a strong reaction when our mind or heart is touched. The Buddha said, kind words can heal many wounds. But beyond words, there's a silent language, sincere listening. When you allow yourself to listen, you open a healing space for both speaker and listener. When you truly listen with your heart, not to refute or prove yourself right, you show respect and understanding. This power transcends time and dissolves the walls of ignorance between you and others. In many relationships, we lose our way when someone says something hurtful. But instead of asking, why did you say that? If you ask, how are you feeling? You open a door for them to share honestly. And when they speak, and you listen, you give them the freedom to be seen. Buddhism teaches, a compassionate heart heals wounds that words cannot reach. The Buddha said, listen as if you are receiving a precious gem, because true listening can relieve burdens that words sometimes cannot. You see, sacred silence holds space for another to fully express themselves. You don't need to solve immediately, just listen. Because when someone is truly heard, their inner wounds begin to ease. Buddhism shows that listening is also a form of letting go of the need to speak, to hastily give advice, to win an argument. When you listen without prejudice, you not only lighten their heart, but also give yourself a chance to look within, calming your mind, no longer angry, reactive, anxious. The Buddha said, in silence, truth is revealed. And indeed, each time you pause to listen, you connect with their truth, their sincerity, and also touch the forgotten shadows within yourself. Each fruit of listening creates a cycle of positive connection. They feel respected, more open. You learn to love without demand, to love under the light of awareness. In communication, if each day you give loved ones and friends a moment of genuine silence, letting them express their feelings, and listening, you're planting seeds of understanding rather than seeds of judgment. You are blooming flowers of peace rather than controversy. Buddhism teaches, whoever listens wholeheartedly extends the thread of good karma between hearts, and that bond becomes the foundation for you both to walk gently on life's path, unburdened by grievances or misunderstandings. Because when you listen, you truly see the other, you give empathy, and you receive peace. Don't wait until cracks appear to say, I need to talk with you. You can start today with any gentle question. Are you okay? Do you want to share? How are you feeling? These are the first stones that build the bridge between hearts. Let anyone who speaks feel the light in you, the light of care, of awareness, of unconditional love, and that is the genuine gift you and they can offer each other each day. This is how Buddhism lives in daily life. Not through doctrine, not through formality, but through loving action, through mindful breaths every time you listen wholehearted. 9. Cultivating gratitude, the key to unlocking wholehearted peace. Buddhism teaches that gratitude is not a fleeting feeling, but a solid foundation for unshakable contentment. The Buddha said, "A grateful mind is the shortest path to true happiness." And in Buddhist teachings, gratitude is a precious gem that lets us see life through the warmth of love rather than the shadows of suffering. When you focus on what you have instead of what you're lacking, you open the door for goodness to flow into your heart. When you give thanks for a warm morning tea, you're nurturing softness with every breath. When you appreciate a stranger's smile, you spread positivity out into the world. Buddhism shows that anything from a breath to a smile, sadness to joy can deserve gratitude when you truly see the abundance of the present moment. Because in gratitude, you're no longer trapped in yesterday's worries or tomorrow's fears. You're fully alive in the now, the Buddha said. One who is grateful each day carries peace within them. And it's not an empty phrase when you sincerely write down 3 things you're thankful for daily, like the blue sky, a cool breeze, a quiet moment. You train your mind to find joy in simplicity rather than chasing after what's beyond control, and you'll feel a gentle shift of serenity, a warmth, a radiant presence. We find ourselves complete without needing others to understand or affirm us. We just need to be ourselves and be thankful for our presence in this world. The Buddha said, "When we are grateful for what we have, we lack nothing." In practice, you can write a thank you letter you don't send to parents, yourself, a friend, just to let gratitude be heard, and you'll notice frustration fading and sweetness arising. Buddhism shows that this energy is the compassionate energy of gratitude. When you are more grateful, you forgive more easily. You let go with more ease. You connect more deeply and live more fully in each moment. And when you go deeper into gratitude, you no longer fear tomorrow or regret yesterday. You possess the invisible wealth of the soul. And the best part is that wealth never runs dry, it simply grows as you share it. The Buddha said, "A grateful heart is a wealthy heart." So starting today, choose at least one thing you're grateful for each morning, and one thing you're grateful for before sleep. Write it down. Receive it as a gift that appears just when you need it, so your mind learns to shift from wanting more to appreciating what is. So you're no longer chasing happiness, but cherishing the joy you have. That is the secret of living peacefully. That is the miracle the Buddha pointed to when he advised us to live simply, but live fully. Use gratitude as your daily guiding light, and you will see that you begin to live differently, more whole, gentler, more peaceful with each passing moment. 10. Adaptability in change. Flexible as water, resilient as ceramic. Buddhism shows that all phenomena follow the law of impermanence: birth, stability, decay, dissolution. This applies not only to clouds and trees, but to relationships, circumstances, even our own minds. The Buddha said, "Whoever knows impermanence sees enlightenment," meaning only when you accept that happiness, sorrow, failure, success all come and go, do you find true stability. Many of us fear change, afraid of losing direction, losing control, afraid of being unable to adapt. And that fear arises from ignorance, from lacking the right understanding of the natural flow of life. But when you truly glimpse impermanence, when you learn to use wisdom and resilience, you're not swept away by life's waves, but become someone who uses life's currents to refine yourself. The Buddha taught, patience is the greatest victory, not to suffer silently, but to shape your mind into one that is patient, mature, unattached, unbound. Consider water. It adapts to every container, in cliffs, under the earth, in oceans, yet remains unbroken, unshamed, unweakened. In Buddhism, the wise are likened to water, flexible but unlost in essence, soft but unbreakable. When circumstances change, instead of resisting, learn to bend with the wind while maintaining your center. Learn to show adaptability without losing yourself. Buddhism teaches that adaptability is not surrender. It is the highest expression of wisdom. The Buddha said, "Act according to conditions, without attachment and without fading." Someone who acts without attachment, receives without tilting, is not enslaved by external conditions, yet their mind remains clear, complete, at peace. When you let go of fixed expectations, no longer anchored to a fixed outcome, you gain the ability to welcome every change as a gift, discovering new possibilities instead of fearing them. Our greatest mistake is often fearing change too violently. Buddhism says resisting simply adds fuel to the fire, driving us deeper into insecurity. The Buddha taught, to remain calm amidst the sea of suffering is the skill of the wise. Learn to sit quietly in the eye of the storm, breathe mindfully, observe the turbulence within, and then choose to respond gently, guided by wisdom and compassion. By doing so, you not only handle external changes skillfully, but also cultivate internal transformation. Each change becomes a lesson. Each closed door helps you reflect inward. The Buddha said, "Every adversity is an invisible teacher, and when you are flexible, you extract great teachings from failures, pain, and loss." You'll notice those who adapt well are often resilient and profound. They don't complain, don't run, but choose to move forward, step by gentle step. Buddhism teaches when the body cannot move, the mind must shift. When change is inevitable, the heart must harmonize to stand strong. So today, if you face change, remember the Buddha's teaching. Let go and learn to flow. Be flexible as water, strong as rock, at ease through life's spirals. And you will meet yourself anew, different, yet more complete, uncovering unexpected capacities to love, to live, to let go, and to receive with a strong, peaceful heart. 11. Reducing desire. Simple happiness from a quiet heart. Buddhism points out that desire is an invisible chain binding our hearts, and it's the root cause of living in endless longing and disappointment. The Buddha once taught, "Whoever does not desire does not suffer," which doesn't dismiss dreams, but reminds us that when our wishes exceed our control, we lose ourselves, drifting away from simplicity, the original source of peace. Often, we become obsessed with fame, status, possessions, control, only to find ourselves exhausted, our hearts cramped and heavy. The cycle of desire grows. Want success, then want to maintain it. Want love, then fear losing it. Want peace, then stress over the future. These are signs we've made personal needs the center of our lives. Buddhism shows that in desire, we fail to live fully in the present tense. Instead, build a mental hell within ourselves. Imagine a day without being driven by the need to have at work. In relationships, for recognition you live more lightly. Thoughts come and go naturally. Emotions arise and drift away like clouds. You're freer in life without feeling watched. The Buddha said, "The greatest renunciation is letting go of ego clinging, guilt, and possessions." And this doesn't mean abandoning responsibility, rejecting love, or ignoring the world, but letting go of ignorant attachment so you can live freer, more awakened. When you reduce desire, you begin to live at your own pace, not chasing trends or societal pressures. You start an honest conversation with yourself. What do I truly want? What do I really need? And from this, you choose to live lightly, giving priority to inner values rather than outer appearances. In Buddhist teachings, renouncing desire is not renouncing happiness. It is touching true happiness that is never vague. The Buddha taught, true happiness lies in a calm heart, not in more things. And this shows in simple moments. Waking from a peaceful sleep, enjoying a fragrant tea in the afternoon, finding solace in the moonlight at night. And when you give thanks for these elements, you live according to the ultimate value Buddhism wants you to experience: love, wisdom, and spiritual freedom. To start, you need to recognize the whirlpool of desire that wears you down. See clearly the things that entangle you: prestige, position, money, affection, then gently set them down to test. Do they still hold value? Do they bring you true peace? Do they help you love more? If not, let them go. Let them dissolve in the breath, in the sunlight, in the innocent rain. You don't lose anything by doing this. You return lightness to your soul. The Buddha said, letting go makes you light. Not letting go burdens you. Finally, when you feel light, peaceful, ready to carry on, you'll realize you're truly living in the present, loving from the roots of your heart, helping each other with sincerity rather than expectation. You'll feel your heart expand, your emotions deepen and become more genuine, and your life becomes more meaningful each day. This is the clearest proof that when you reduce desire, you are no longer a slave to external circumstances. You are the master of your own mind, choosing a quiet path lit by Buddhist light amidst life's storms. 12. Returning to a simple life, listening to the heartbeat of inner peace. Buddhism teaches that when the heart no longer craves, life naturally becomes simple, and miracles arise from the simplest things. The Buddha taught, "Who lives simply like the grass in the forest will find peace amid the storms of the world." Because in simplicity, there is mindfulness. In mindfulness, there is freedom. And in that freedom, we discover a life unburdened by unnecessary complexity. When we fall into the whirlpool of materialism and fame, our hearts shrink, emotions become unbalanced, stress arises easily. Buddhism shows that this is the result of incessant craving in the mind. The Buddha once said, "To attain peace, let go of complexity." And only by removing what is unnecessary can we clearly see the beauty of the present moment. See that each sunrise is not just the song of peace, but the miracle of awakened morning. Did you know many people feel suffocated in their own homes due to clutter, weighed down by the pressure of expectations and responsibilities? Your mind is the same. It needs a clean space to rest. In Buddhist teaching, the Buddha pointed out that organizing external space is organizing the mind, and when the outside is orderly, within us we have space to dwell. When you keep only what is truly needed and brings value, you place yourself in a state of ease, lightness, not too much, just enough. Enough to live, enough to love, enough to breathe and smile. And when you cultivate a simple life, you will stress less over loss, change, or unmet expectations, because you clearly see life's nature. Simple, yet profound. The Buddha said, "Who befriends simplicity lives with wisdom, and knowing contentment is true wealth." When you stop trying to surpass others, to reach too high, you pause to see the real value inside yourself. The capacity to love, the power of attention, the ability to give and receive without expectation. Then you realize the things you once thought would bring happiness are just external items. The value lies in how you use them, not in the things themselves. In an increasingly complicated world, your creative intelligence is often scattered by social media, by endless work, by piled-up responsibilities. Buddhism teaches that you don't have to struggle to achieve heart steadiness, achieve inner peace, achieve the light of awareness to permeate each action. When you accept small things, a family meal, an afternoon cup of tea, a minute of mindful face washing, you have entered the state Buddhism hopes for, inner peace in the middle of the ordinary. The Buddha taught, "A peaceful mind is the true meditation hall, and that place is not distant, it is where you live, if you awaken." Each day, set aside time to tidy your space for just 5 minutes. Remove unused items. Delete unimportant notifications on your phone. Each of these actions creates stillness in your life, telling your mind, "I am enough, I don't need it all. I only need peace." Miracles come naturally. You will awaken when you no longer feel tired simply because you think you don't have enough. You no longer feel envy when others surpass you. You no longer worry when things don't go as planned, because you know peace lies not in outcomes, but in the path you're walking. This clearly demonstrates what Buddhism points out. True happiness doesn't lie in external abundance, but in inner peace, a mind of serenity. You don't need to be a monk. Just live as an awakened being in a rushing world. So today, choose one simple act. Maybe clean out your bag, remove unworn clothes, delete unnecessary apps, or sit in meditation for 3 minutes midday. And as you do, be aware of each breath, each action. You'll discover these small moments bring a precious stillness, a strange lightness, a feeling that you are living without being hurried. With each simple step, you are building a life of Dharma, as Buddhism teaches. A simple mind will be the place where the light of wisdom and compassion will dwell forever. 13. Small actions, the softness of a moonlit footstep. Buddhism points out that gentle steps taken today build a serene path for a virtuous life. And if you think big change requires grand acts, the Buddha said, start with small things, done wholeheartedly, and you are sowing seeds of transformation. So, just choose one small act today. Take a full breath, smile at yourself in the mirror, or remind yourself, I am grateful today. You're laying the foundation of awareness. We often think change needs perfect conditions, a retreat, a journey, a big shock, but Buddhism shows that the enough condition already exists in every present moment, if you wakefully choose. The Buddha taught, a small kind gesture is never wasted, meaning, even offering a gentle glance or kind word, you've planted seeds of goodness, creating space for peace to bloom. When you do this daily, you're not only changing yourself, you're spreading peace to other hearts. Did you know Buddhism likens each small act to a drop in a still pond, not causing a huge splash, but gradually cooling and clearing the water? And your heart is the same each time you mindfully choose love, forgiveness, compassion. It's a small light shining in the darkness of ignorance. The Buddha advised, find light within your own darkness. So if you feel uneasy, close your eyes and release tension. That's a sacred small act. In Buddhist teaching, the importance lies not in grand gestures, but in the mindfulness you invest in each act. You might hold back resentment for 5 seconds when someone says something hurtful, not silent resignation, but a wise restraint that sows seeds of inner peace. When you realize you can choose not to react angrily, you've already grown beyond any storm within. Similarly, you could set a daily reminder on your phone. Take 3 mindful breaths. Each reminder is a calming pill for the mind, moment by moment restoring balance. The Buddha said, practice isn't about escaping life. It's about living mindfully within life. And small actions are your pathway to live mindfully, not escaping responsibilities or feelings, but meeting them with wisdom. You could spend 3 minutes daily writing one thing you wish to let go of and one thing you're grateful for. That's not big, but Buddhism shows that spiritual energy arises from tiny, sincere acts. And the miracle unfolds gently. You'll feel lighter, your mind calmer, your smile for others more graceful. Buddhism teaches that mindful action is practicing meditation in every step, every breath, every look, every listen. When you recognize each moment holds the shimmering potential of awakening, you won't miss the bridge between inner peace and true kindness strengthened. Think, you don't need to do something great today. Just keep your heart calm, look, breathe, love, and let go at the right time. You are living by the Buddha's teaching. And when you're busy or tired, just remember, a small mindful step still brings you closer to genuine Dharma. Small actions, fully present, spark big change for you, for loved ones, for the world. If you're still here, silently listening until the end, and that isn't coincidence, perhaps amid countless outside sounds, you chose stillness to hear a very quiet whisper from your true self. Maybe you've grown tired of struggling through life, deeply feeling the unspoken imbalance, and just wanted someone to remind you, you are not alone. Buddhism teaches you don't need to go far, just turn inward to touch the light. We don't need to strive to become someone new, only learn to return to the breath, the heart, the simplest elements of the soul. If this touches you, please write down what you want to express: a pain needing healing, a silent wish, or simply a promise to yourself. I will slow down and be kinder. And if you feel touched by the light of Dharma in this video, gently press like, subscribe to Flow of Dharma channel, and share this light with the one you love most. Because in this silent affinity, a door may be opening, a path unfolding, a homecoming not flashy, but deep and steadiest, beginning right now. Thank you for being gentle enough to listen, sincere enough to receive, and brave enough to heal yourself.